Good evening, sir.
Hi Keshav, please have a seat.
Thank you.
Keshav, tell me something about yourself that is not there in your tab.
Sir, I'm an avid quizzer. I was involved in quizzing in school and college as well, sir. In college and school, sir, I was involved in quizzing.
Okay, and anything else that defines you?
I'm very determined. I'm curious about things. I love to learn. I have a quest for knowledge, if I may.
Keshav, I see that you've done your bachelor's in medicine.
Yes, sir.
Why CAPF then? You could have very well become a doctor.
So while growing up, I've grown around in military cantonments and military stations, sir. So the uniform services always had a charm, attraction to me, sir. So while choosing my 11th and 12th subjects, I ended up taking biology. So becoming a doctor was an obvious choice. So my goal during that time was to get into AFMC, that is Armed Forces Medical College. But unfortunately, I missed the cutoff by a few marks, 5 to 10 marks. So then I was getting a seat in a government medical college. So my parents insisted that I should further pursue this career and become a doctor, and then maybe think about joining the uniform services later.
Okay. So why didn't you apply for CDS then? Why CAPS?
So CDS, so I started preparing for civil services. So I was in college, so I came across the civil services exam, and I found out that there is the option of serving in the IPS as well, which is a uniform service. So that had an attraction for me, and so while discovering about that, I came across the CAPS as well.
So this CAPF is your option or plan C, D, E. What should I think?
No, sir, it's nothing like that, sir. So given the opportunity,
Your passion was joining uniform services.
Right, sir.
You became a doctor.
Yes, sir.
Then you wanted to join the civil services.
Yes, sir.
Then you wanted to join IPS.
Yes, sir.
So where does CAPF comes into picture?
So while learning about the IPS, I came across the various CAPFs and the mandate.
That is what I am saying. No? CAPF is your plan D. Just in case everything else falls apart, then you will become an assistant commandant.
So personally, in my humble opinion, sir, I would disagree with that. Sir, I don't see it like that.
Okay. Anyways, okay, Keshav, there is a society called Red Cross.
Right.
Have you heard about it?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So it's an international NGO which works in the field of medicine and provides healthcare services across countries and regions where it is not available, and also in war times wherever there is a need for healthcare services. So Red Cross is doing some work over there.
Keshav, what is your force preference in CAPFs?
So it is CISF, SSB, ITBP, BSF and CRPF.
So what is the role of CISF in times of war, given that we are almost facing a war?
So CISF, so it has a mandate of protecting all the important installations, nuclear installations, so which can be critical in a war.
Important installations, sorry?
So nuclear installations and various.
Are you sure that nuclear installations are protected by CISF?
So I would read up on that, but
Okay.
so basically protecting critical infrastructure, nuclear power plants and other such power plants, so that
Okay.
can be crucial in.
But that is in peacetime, no?
Right, sir.
I'm asking what would be the duties, or what are rather the duties of CISF in times of war, in times of a national emergency?
So CISF can, if there's the need, it can act as a supplement to the forces.
What do you mean by supplement? Can. That can be done by civilians also.
Right.
Don't you think that the government, or rather our constitution, founders, or rather the founders of the force would have charted some roles for every force in times of war. Okay, no issues. So you've been engaged in football and badminton right since your school levels.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why couldn't we win a single medal in badminton this time at Olympics?
So I would say we were very unlucky in some of the instances. We came fourth in the singles as well as in the doubles, mixed doubles competition. So that is, I would see personally as well.
Okay, and what is the problem with Indian football? We were sometime back called the Brazil of Asia.
Right, sir.
In 1962 Asian Games we won it. But now I don't know whether we are 150th or 160th in FIFA rankings. What is the problem with Indian football?
So it's a very multifaceted problem, I would say, sir, because mainly the grassroots development of infrastructure and training and coaches, the quality of coaches at the grassroots level, it's very...
Do you think that India had a better grassroots level coaching infrastructure in 1960s?
Sir, I would, in this situation, sir, I would say that maybe India did not, but other people drastically improved on their other countries across the world. They invested in the grassroots infrastructure and they grew much greater than we could, and we kind of neglected football as a sport because it was not in the top preferences of Indian people growing up. So maybe I see that as a reason.
Okay. What is ESOL examination, Keshav?
Sir, it's English speakers of other languages, sir. It is conducted by the Cambridge University. So basically they provide you with a certificate. They conduct an examination and they give certificates out to people who are good at speaking English and communicating in English. So.
Okay, Keshav. Medical science, right?
Right.
So, are you aware of this company called Colossal Biosciences?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware. I'll read about that.
Okay, fine. So, what is CRISPR-Cas9?
So CRISPR-Cas9, it is basically a gene editing technology. So it's a restriction endonuclease. It cuts DNA at certain fragments which can be used for genetic engineering purposes and modifying organisms and producing various drugs and vaccines.
Can we use this technique to bring some extinct species back to life?
So theoretically, I would say it is possible, but practically, I don't think it's such.
Has been used?
So at some level,
Which species was brought back, so called?
so recently dire wolves were.
So which company did it? Colossal Biosciences.
I'm sorry, sir.
So, okay, fine. So, are you aware of the companies called Eli?
Yes, sir.
What is it about?
So it's an American conglomerate based in the biotechnology sector. So it basically that Eli is credited with discovering artificial insulin, which they produced for the first time in the 1980s, which revolutionized the treatment of diabetes management.
And recently it has again brought up in diabetes management. Are you aware of that, Sneh?
I'm sorry, sir.
Novo Nordisk, does that ring a bell?
Sorry, sir.
Wegovy, Mounjaro, have you heard of these drugs? Recently they have entered Indian market.
I'm not aware, sir.
Okay, so why is it India called diabetes capital of the world?
So because we have a very high caseload of type 2 diabetes.
We are very high or the highest?
So the highest, I would say, but it is significantly high, sir. So that is.
So why is it that diabetes being, recognized as the lifestyle disease,
Right, sir.
and such high incidence, such high prevalence of diabetes, and still we are not able to do much about it? Why is it so?
So the government has brought in programs like the National Program for Control of Non-Communicable Diseases and other stuff. So we are working in that direction. But so I think it has more to do with the mindset of Indian people and the lifestyle we have tended to adopt over a long period of time. So because we have been more focused on getting jobs in the sedentary sector, and so the lifestyle where we sit for long hours and do our work. So that is one of the major reasons why India is emerging as the diabetes capital.
Exactly. So how can we counter this tendency?
So I think that it has to start at the childhood level basically. So from behavioral change communication, right from the start we have to inculcate more physical activities in the curriculum of the children while growing up, so that they adopt a way in which they also take care about their health and they focus on doing physical activity, which can greatly supplement in countering this problem.
So do you think as an assistant commandant you would have to, tackle this problem in your force? Do you think this problem is prevalent in the forces?
So when it comes to type 2 diabetes mellitus, which is mostly a lifestyle disease, I think it's not that big of a problem because the forces have a very rigorous physical demand and the lifestyle. But when it comes to other types of diabetes, because other types are mostly genetically induced, like type 1 diabetes mellitus. So for that maybe there can be a chance.
Okay, fine. So you like singing and playing guitar.
Right, sir.
Which guitar do you play exactly?
So I can play the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar, the bass guitar.
And which guitar do you own?
So currently I own a Yamaha electric guitar and I have an acoustic guitar from AIR-09.
Okay, so who is credited with let us say making the first electric guitar?
Sorry sir, I'm not aware of it.
Leo Fender, have you heard the name?
Right, sir, yes.
Who was he?
Sir, I know Fender because it is a very big brand in electric guitars.
Okay, fine. So you were also a class prefect.
Yes, sir.
What is a prefect and how is it different from a monitor? I mean, you could have very well been a class monitor or house captain,
Right.
but why a class prefect?
Sir, I'm unable to think of.
Okay, fine. So what are qualities did you gain, did you learn from being a house or a class prefect?
So qualities of discipline, I would say, and helping other people when in need, and so helping the teachers set up the classroom and the board and so other responsibilities around the class, which a few designated students can do, so the classroom environment becomes more feasible for learning.
Okay, fine.
Thanks.
Alright, Keshav, how are you?
Good, sir.
So, suppose Keshav, you are posted at Naxal affected area,
Right.
and suddenly, and you are an assistant commandant over there, right? And suppose you got an overnight attack from Naxalite. So, what would be your first response?
So my first response would be to assess the situation, if there have been any casualties or what are the damages that we have sustained. And so after that, I would like to group my men and see what the current scenario is, get a good picture of what is going on, and then proceed further.
So, you also love to watch football, right?
Yes, sir.
What is offside in football?
Sir, offside is a rule in football, sir, which says that when the attacker of a team is moving towards the goal of the opposition, so his teammate, when he's passing the ball to the attacker should be ahead of the last defender of the defending team.
So Keshav, tell me one issue, right, which is not very highlighted in the newspaper, except this India, Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine, and trade war.
So I would say the Indus water is leaking, but it is in
Also in the context of
Right.
any political development, like what bill act,
Yes, sir.
recent controversy
Yes, sir.
regarding this.
Yes, sir.
Keshav, we have targeted that we will become, we will come in the category of developed countries, right, by the 2047.
Right.
But do you think that in a war-like situation between India and Pakistan, right, we will touch that particular date line?
So I would say that it would definitely hamper our progress because all the resource gets diverted toward the war efforts, and we have to take care of other things as well. But so saying that, I feel very optimistic that we will recover and we will come back stronger in the future, and we can achieve this goal.
What do you think that we should impose national emergency or not in a war-like situation between India and Pakistan?
So in the case of full-blown conflict, when there is a military confrontation at the ground level, then I feel there is a national emergency.
But still Delhi is on a highway.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So, but I feel that still there has not been a full declaration of war, and the armies are still not engaging one-on-one per se, sir. So,
By the way, which provision of the Constitution of India is national emergency?
so it's Article 352, sir.
What does it say?
So it says that the president can impose a national emergency via a written permission from the cabinet in case of three conditions. If there is an armed rebellion in the country, if there is a war or disturbance of peace.
What was the original language of this Article 352? It was changed by the 44th Amendment Act.
Yes, sir. So in the original constitution, sir, the third condition was mentioned as internal disturbances, which was further changed to armed rebellion after the abolition of the 1975 emergencies. Thanks.
Keshav, what are generic medicine?
So generic medicines are drugs which contain the active pharmaceutical ingredient of the compound, which is actually the compound which has medical efficacy in the patients, and it is produced at a mass level, so it becomes cheaper because of economies of scale, and it can be used to treat conditions at a lower price compared to the branded drugs.
Okay, Keshav, we have seen few medical violence in India during the time of COVID, right? So, is there any law made for these doctors?
So that has been a long-standing demand, but there is no particular law as of now.
Are you sure there is no law as such?
So no law directly for the doctors or the healthcare workers currently.
Okay. I can see you have an interest in traveling.
Yes.
So, do you travel alone or in a group?
So both ways, alone or in a group, however the opportunity presents itself.
Tell me a few places where you have been, have traveled.
So my last trip after passing out from my final year was to Spiti Valley, sir.
Spiti Valley?
Yes, sir. It's a very serene place located in Himachal Pradesh.
Back in 2023?
Yes, sir. 2023.
Okay, fine. Tell me, Keshav, any three leadership traits which you have in you?
So I feel that I am a good communicator. I can put across my point very well. And so secondly, I believe that I'm good in delegating work. I can assess the qualities of other people, and I can understand what responsibilities they are best suited for.
Okay.
So I would say that I'm very determined, and if a task has to be completed, then I feel that I might be.
Okay, can you tell me two more?
So I would say that I'm a team player. I like to take all of my colleagues' inputs in coming up with the plan of action. And I feel that I have a collaborative attitude with other people.
If not CAPF, then what's your plan B?
So if I'm unable to get in, then I will definitely try for the civil services exam and try to get into the IPS.
Okay.